Welcome to April's Community Comments, now with added thoughts on the good and the bad from CIG this month. Community comments are where I take some time to respond to the comments that you have put on my videos, because basically live streaming isn't a possibility for me at the moment, so it's kind of like an Ask Me Anything. Now you may be wondering where the Starships and Warships episode is, why you haven't had the first Naval Officer Reviews episode yet. For those that aren't aware, I work in search and rescue, and sometimes, no matter how well things go, no matter how quickly everyone responds and that everyone does the job to the best of their ability, sometimes you just do not get the outcome that you were hoping for. To have that happen a number of times in a very short stretch tires you out mentally and it tires you out physically. And unfortunately that's happened to both myself and to a few of my colleagues over the last month. That's why there hasn't been as much content. I'm hoping to get things back to some semblance of normality as quickly as I can. Please bear with me, it's not a process I can just say, hey, it's all going to be ready by this date. Unfortunately, that's not how this works. But obviously my priority when you work in such an important field is to make sure that I'm ready, rested, and in a good headspace for my next set of shifts. And that means that I've had to, unfortunately, let all this take a bit of a backseat in order that I've recuperated. In the meantime, if you're looking for a little bit of content along those lines, I went over to the Info Runners channel on an episode about search and rescue and medical gameplay. There's an ex-US Army combat medic, there's myself from the search and rescue side. It's well worth a look. Sneak face reveal in that video, spoilers, and just head over. It's about an hour long and it's all really good content. There's loads of good stuff in there. This month from CIG, obviously the headline, we've seen patch 3.13. It's not all great, but there are a few things in here I really want to highlight. First is that we've got ship-to-ship docking, which is great. SDF shield tech is massive. And the reputation system is going to form the basis of a lot, I think, of endgame gameplay in Star Citizen. So to see that even in the basic form that it's in now, is an encouraging step. There have also been two big announcements from CIG. The first is the dates for Fleet Week, 21st of May. Let's all make sure we're online for that stuff. And the big thing is this comment here, blink and you'll miss it, carriers. Carriers, we're going to see carriers, and then they tweeted a picture of a Bengal cat in a carrier. Now this is obviously going to be like the Javelin was last year. It's going to be flying around. We won't be able to interact with it so much, but that is still a major thing, and it's a free fly, so get people involved. And the CitizenCon 2021 Save the Date, or 2951 if you're that way inclined, happening on the 9th of October. It's going to be free for everyone. It's going to be streamed on Twitch. Everyone will get the same content at the same time, which is really cool. Let me know down in the comments what sort of thing you want me to do for CitizenCon. Do you want to do an online kind of watch it together thing? Do you want me to distill down all of the presentations into one video and just let you know kind of the key points? What do you fancy? Really interested to hear your ideas, so stick it in the comments if you've got one. I've also really kind of enjoyed the last few Inside Star Citizens. This armor stuff all seems like a step in the right direction. It seems a little bit more functional, a little less cartoony, because whilst I don't have anything against the cartoony sets of armor, if I see you in that damn cat armor, I swear to God I will shoot you on sight. And the Horizon Crusader stuff, the concepts, the white box stuff they've shown just looks absolutely amazing. It's going to be so different. I hope it feels different. I hope the cloud tech blows us away and just looks absolutely amazing. The stuff that they're going to use around the planet, I hope flying through it genuinely feels like it should in the movies. And this little snippet with all the Hercules things in the background, love it. Of course, the downside of 3.13 is that a lot of people, myself included, are struggling to get in. I load in once and then it's infinite loading screen and no amount of workarounds, character resets, all that sort of stuff has fixed anything, unfortunately. A lot of people are reporting tanking frame rates, although a lot of people also, admittedly, some of you guys are saying that it's working just fine for you. You know, I know we kind of expect this sort of stuff, but this one seems particularly problematic, especially when you think we're already almost halfway to the next patch. There's also been a few missteps by CIG this month, I think, and the first one is the What is Star Citizen video, the one you can see playing in the background. There's a couple of bits here that I really don't like. It shows ships that aren't available, it shows things that we can't do yet, like the moving your hands and kind of stopping yourself in EVAing. It shows a much more kind of intelligent AI there than we actually have in the game, and I don't think that's a great decision just yet, because anyone typing in What is Star Citizen, that's going to come in pretty close to the top, I should imagine. Also, the Rock DS, I don't get it. I just don't understand where it fits into the grand scheme of things, and I know I'm just kind of repeating what a lot of other people said, but hey, I still think it, so I'm still going to say it. And there was a whole episode where CIG sent emails to players threatening bans for excessive PvP, which they say had strayed into the realms of griefing. At the same time, they removed the armistice zone around Port Olisar, making PvP more accessible and easier to conduct. It's a weird and interesting mixed message, and I'm not quite sure it was the right one. That being said, let's get into your comments on some of the videos from the last month. First off, this one from Darius Novox, thanks very much for the comment, mate. They should stop adding content or ships and focus on optimizing what they have now. From glitches to a better UI and interaction interface, NPC behaviors and dialogues, quests, tutorials, etc. What's the point of adding more and more if what they have is broken? As someone who's been unable to log in for 3.13, I completely get your frustration. Unfortunately, this is just a byproduct of playing a game that's in alpha, right? They are going to keep adding more stuff that is going to break the game by its very nature. It's kind of like asking the builders to stop building the first floor of your house because you want to hoover the ground floor. It's going to get more dust on it anyway. There really isn't any point. Trucker Jack said this in response to my question about whether or not CIG need to be more transparent about the delays and things that they have in development. He says, it's 50-50 to if we're being honest. Half of us want this and deserve to have it. The other half of us want it, but simply can't handle the reality of what it's saying. If you're a backer though, I say the least they can do is be open and honest about what the future holds, be it good or bad. Yeah, absolutely. There's always going to be the element that's negative about it, and sometimes that element is going to be completely justified, but I think a little bit more openness definitely wouldn't be a bad thing. Sanctrid on the data running gameplay video said, I want to see the ability to remotely block and intercept comm array data like crime activities. Yeah, absolutely. I like the idea of being able to intercept it. In terms of blocking, I hope they make that more of an advanced thing, like something you need to work up to, rather than something that we can do straight away, because I think it kind of kills the gameplay loop of having to get to the array yourself. This one from the other one. One idea I think would be cool is treating server racks more as refineries for raw data. Things like stolen freight records, crew manifests, transaction histories, etc. get collected through theft, scanning and hacking, and then fed into the servers for processing. It would be cool if you could essentially get a sort of snapshot of a part of the quantum system by gathering and processing the right data. Yeah, this is certainly possible with the quantum simulation running on the back end. What I do know for sure is that the Herald and the other sort of data running ships and data hybrids, there needs to be some sort of purpose and bonus and benefit to having all of that computer equipment on board that isn't kind of present in the ships that don't have it. What that is, I suppose, remains to be seen. This one from Dave Marden. Welcome, fella. Interesting vid. One thing I don't understand regarding exploration and discovery of points of interest is this. Once a point of interest is found and the data is sold or claimed, then what? Is the point of interest gone forever, or will CIG regenerate that point of interest into a different location? Yeah, that's a really good question, especially when Chris Roberts has been saying that you can drop a coffee cup, come back 3 months later, and it will still be in that location. It would then be really weird if procedurally generated locations suddenly disappear. I can find my coffee cup, but those really big alien ruins have somehow disappeared. No answer of how this is going to work. We're just going to have to keep an eye on it. This one from Robin HJ. Thank you very much for the comment, mate. Most of what you suggest is information a person can carry on their mobiGlas, and it leaves the question, what are the Herald and Stormrunner going to be doing that merits that much equipment? Even your point about needing a Herald to decrypt the data would not preclude a person carrying the data in an arrow and just selling it to a Herald owner. And that takes us back to what a waste of a big tech-filled ship it is just to use it for decryption. Yeah, I think there's going to be an element of that equipment that is security. I mean, sure, you could carry it on a chip or mobiGlas, but to me those things would be very easy to hack into. The big equipment on a Herald or a Star Runner might need specialised equipment that could show up in security scans or inspections and be something that you need a fair amount of knowledge to be able to use, so it's for more advanced players, if that makes sense. And this exchange between Radu Gurman and Eagle 6 Airsoft just made me laugh. Is it like early access? Nope, not even early access. It's the equivalent to an IKEA make-it-yourself set with no instructions and you're missing pieces because they weren't built yet. That's Star Citizen in a nutshell. And then Eagle 6 comes in with, and then IKEA phone you up to tell you it's your fault for not having the instructions. That would be like asking for help on Spectrum. Yeah, Spectrum isn't always the healthiest of places to go if you have a criticism or something to ask, like ever. And then in a rare double appearance, Eagle 6 again comes back with a comment about what I said about not increasing the player cap on servers. He says, with regards to server tech, yes, they're working on server meshing, but there's absolute merit in them trying to increase the players per server. It's down to costs. And then he goes through some maths and says, don't you think it's a little unrealistic to say they don't need to increase server player cap? Yeah, look, I see what you're saying, but I do stand by what I said. And that is that you have a finite number of staff in Star Citizen who's working on the back-end networking stuff. At the moment, we'd like to think they're all working on server meshing, almost all of them. If you're going to expand this tech, it's going to slow down server meshing, and all you're doing is working on code that you know you're going to replace. I understand your math, I see what you mean, it's going to be expensive, yes, you're right, but if you look at the letter from the chairman at the end of last year, at the end of 2020, the daily average users, and that's just daily, that's not concurrent, this is per day, 40,000. Very rarely you get above 40,000. They got to 80,000 at the end of the year during the anniversary sale, and they got to almost 100,000 during Fleet Week, but those are obviously peak periods, and were very much offset by the amount of money that they brought in. So, yes, it's a lot, but there are more costs here to consider than just the server costs themselves, and I think working on server meshing, getting it in quicker, is the right way to go. Tads to Trolley says, come on, it's only been 9 years, it's not like they haven't got the very basics right, like PvE bounties, or even completed a single system. Oh wait. Server meshing is just more marketing hype to buy them more time. You won't see it implemented for years, and what does that mean for the rest of development? Yeah man, development's going to be slow, but I kind of don't get what you mean about server meshing is either more marketing hype, or it's something that won't be implemented for years. Unless what you're saying is that it's marketing hype, that it's coming soon. But I mean, it's still coming, right? And no, they haven't got the basics right from a gameplay perspective, because, and say it with me now, it's in alpha, and alpha isn't about gameplay, it's about the core systems. It's a technical state of development, not a user experience and gameplay state of development. It's just not. Very Violent says, based on the lies that CIG tells us, development progress should speed up, and yet patches keep getting smaller and they have less content. The current patch 3.13 is a very good example. They're building theatres of war without anyone asking for it or for any purpose. I'm full of the crap, Honestly, I gave up a long time ago. I get that you've given up, and that's fine. I think that 3.13 has more technical content in it, SDF shields, the docking, the reputation system, that it does content. I absolutely agree with you there. But Theatres of War, look, developers use mini-games when they're developing stuff all the time. It's how they find out if stuff works, if it's fun, if it's functional. That's just a thing. CIG are just taking it one step further by adding it to the game and giving us that experience as well. You know, more content or less content, what do we want? And just a friendly reminder, me responding to comments regardless of what they're saying and how they think, it's not an invitation to go and attack anyone. By all means, debate, have differences of opinion, but everyone has a different opinion, and that's just fine. So remember, down in the comments, let me know how you feel about what sort of content you want to see for CitizenCon, and for that matter, Fleet Week as well. What sort of stuff would you be interested in me having a look at? You've been watching Drinkers with Gaming Problems. Thank you very much for stopping by. See you soon.